Welcome to this discussion, both about situation in Syria, but also what people here living in Finland and in Europe, both those who are coming from Syria originally, and the other people, of course, can do for peace and democracy and having better communication and dialogue with each other. And we have a distinguished guest,
Thank you.
Dr. Maija Rahapi, wrongly pronounced, who has been working with these issues many years and published articles and books and been active with the diaspora kind of context on working with Syria. So we are very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful summer day in Peace Station, and I'm coming. My name is Laura Ludenis. I'm coming from Peace Union, and here is Manja, who has been working with Finland-Syrian Friendship Association for years. So maybe I give Manja a short word, and then we go to the main person.
Thank you.
And then I hope that we get some discussions from the public, and then we are going to also have a little bit music, and also there is something small to eat also, so you don't have to be totally hungry and thirsty all the evening. But Manja.
Yes.
Thank you,
Laura. I would like first of all to thank Peace League for this possibility to make cooperation, to have Dr. Maija Rahapi here to speak about the possibilities for diaspora to promote peace and maybe development also for the country of destination and here inside the community in their communities. We have been thinking with Laura for many years to do these issues, and we have been, as Arabic speakers, I am not going to speak about just Syrians, about all Arabic speakers and about diaspora work has been neglected for many years, and we are trying to raise the voice. Thank you once again, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me now. Good evening, everyone. And I'm pleased to be in Finland. It's a lovely country, and thank God that the weather is nice also, because we heard that it's so cold here, but thank God that this is not as I imagined before. We are, as feminist activists and feminist movement in the world, we are against war. You know this, and we are for peace. I don't want to speak only about Syria, but about war in the whole world. We think that the international capitalist patriarchal system that what we call it now is the cause of these wars in the whole world. Not only in Syria, but in Iraq, in Yemen, in Ukrainian. Yeah. So why is this war? We think for the human being, we have to stop these wars, stop selling weapons also in the whole world. Before Ukrainian, we used to say that we, the people in the third world or developed world, are victims of these wars. But now, after what happened in Ukrainian, we see that the victims are not we, the people from third world, but also people from Europe. And I think now that 2 years ago, the Queen Elizabeth said that thank God we finished war in the world, and she was speaking about Europe. But at that moment, I thought what she is saying. There is many war in Africa, in Asia, in South America. But now she can't say that there is no war in the world anymore because it's in Europe now. So I think this thing about war, we have all to stay together, to say to the whole governments in the world, stop war and stop selling weapons. I will speak a little bit, you know the situation in Syria, but in some words I want to say that it starts with a revolution against the regime, the tyranny regime in Syria in 2011, as what we called Arab Spring in Yemen, in Tunisia, in Egypt, and also in Libya, and in many countries in Arabic world. There was revolution against these tyranny regimes, and but unfortunately, the whole world didn't want that this revolution bring democracy for our countries. So the whole world stayed silent when these tyranny regimes were against these revolutions, and they killed people, and that caused many victims in Arabic world, not only in Syria. After the revolution, unfortunately, it turns to armed conflict, not only in Syria, but in Yemen and in Libya. And in other countries, it turned into another authority tyranny regimes. I don't know what our Egyptian colleague think, but I think that the regime now in Egypt is also a tyranny regime. I'm sorry if you think something else, but this is my opinion. And I'm afraid that it will be also in Tunisia the same way like in Egypt. So all this leads us to something very important. The whole world don't want that we have democracy in our countries. The whole world stands silent to all the crimes that happens in our countries. And as a result of this armed conflict which come after these revolutions, there was many victims, many refugees also. I see as an example in Syria, we were 23 million before the revolution. Now 7 million of us are displaced and 7 million are refugees outside Syria. 6 million of them are in neighboring country in a very miserable situation. They are in camps where there are no water, no electricity, no opportunity to work also. They are not recognized as refugees because the neighboring countries were not signed the refugee convention. So they are not recognized as refugees. They don't have any rights. They don't have any papers. They can't work. They can't do anything. They are stuck in these camps in a situation that we can say unhuman. About Syrian women, because we are a feminist organization, so I have to speak about Syrian women. Syrian women are subject of all kind of violence. Rape was a war weapon in Syria, as in the whole world, in all countries where there are military conflicts. So we speak a lot about sexual violence, which is as a weapon in the war. Not only sexual violence, but there is all kind of violence. Even family or family violence is more and more when there is armed conflict, because there is no responsibility, there is no law, no government. Everyone who has a weapon can do whatever he wants, and there is no accountability. So it's really a very bad situation. Also, the economic situation is very bad in Syria now. 80% of people are under poverty line. The most important things, you know, when we ask women inside Syria, what are your priorities, what are your needs, they don't say to us, we need to eat, we need... I want to say something here. I don't know if you know that there is small initiatives in whole Syria. In northwest, there is many small initiatives. They are people who want to help other people. And there is many women initiatives. Also, northwest are not all controlled by Kurdish military, but there is also many areas from east of Syria are controlled by nobody. And there is so many women initiatives there. These initiatives we want to help. They are able to implement projects, and we can help them if we have the way to send them money, to make training for them. We are making these trainings online now, but how can we help these initiatives without sending money? We are not speaking about sending money to the regime to give it to them. No, we are speaking about how can we send the money directly to them. There is many, you can't imagine when we discuss with them online how they are aware about how they can implement these projects, but they don't have the tools. So we have to help them. About the regime, you know, in this Coplands, you heard about Coplands, trial. There many people speaks about so many massacres. It's not only Tadamon, but what happened in Syria is unbelievable. No, but it's not only Holocaust, it's more than Holocaust. But now we have as Syrians to think that there is no political change now, and maybe in 10 years. So we can't wait until this political change happens. We have to act now. We have to press that the international committee let us as Syrians help our people inside Syria. Let us, despite these sanctions, to help our people inside Syria and in neighboring countries. We have to find ways. I don't know how. but we have working.
One of the problems somehow in today's world and how the news and issues are going, that there is a quite short time when the world's eyes are on some conflict. I mean, in Syria was some short time, and Afghanistan was some short time, and then the focus changed to somebody else, and then some people forget. Many of us have kind of forgot what's happening in Syria, and we have many conflicts here. Is also in the room people who are working in different areas, and they know all this, that how difficult it is to keep the kind of pressure and political. And that's of course one of your visits idea, that we were today to the parliament, and tomorrow we are going to the foreign ministry to somehow to remind that there is this issue is alive and important. And one is this to kind of gather support for the idea of how to give the power to women and people in Syria. But if you can separate women and people, but anyhow, but yeah. But also to remind that there is not only one conflict and a time, that there is really kind of remind ourselves about it. Was there somebody? I don't see any concrete hands. Now my suggestion, because I'm a woman and I have to multitask, which men don't have to do mostly. So I have to go and save the coffee so it's keeping warm, otherwise it's getting cold. So I'm suggesting that we give our musician now of space. I save the coffee, and then after that we could take, or how is it, you would be ready already, you don't have to be any preparations. Maybe Maria, could you, because you could maybe introduce our musicians somehow, because you are better on it than me, and I say the coffee, and then I promise that we get some. There is no real food, so that you can go not hungry the rest of the week, but small salty things.
Of course, I am honored to introduce my friend Sam Mahmoud. He is, I know Sam since maybe 20 years. That's why I can't speak anything else than beautiful things about him. He is a high-level musician, but I thought before, I didn't know that I have to introduce him, because I thought that Mary asked him and studied his CV before this evening.
But you can it by heart.
Yes, but Sam Mahmoud, he was since Syria Euronist in age of 25, right? Or something like. He is still young, but later he was working in high-level institutions in Emirates, and later he moved to Spain. He was playing in many forums and events for many years, and then he came to Finland in 2012, and through Global Music Center he had performances, maybe can I say hundreds or tens, at least.
All my life, my dad.
All here, I mean, in Finland since 10 years, in many places. Now we are going high level here. For example, for the Arabic speaking, he was playing in, for example, with Wadia Asfafi or with who else, and now we are going to listen to very nice music.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The idea is that after the music we can continue the discussion in a kind of more informal way. So we don't kind of, but now we are traveling to maybe to Syria and to the Arabic world with your music, and then we continue the political discussions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maya.
There's some.
Thank you.
يا
I pick birds.
غني لولا غني.
Ei kyllä tiedä.
Okay, the last one.
Yes.
ميكس يعني
Mix.
راكي لاين يا سوريا لاين إجاز.
I